Where's my camera? That's
You're right here. Good afternoon and welcome to the Doris Hall James Indie Show. We thank you for joining in with us today with our special guest, Johnnie Walker. How are you, Johnnie?
I'm fabulous.
You're doing good. It's
Sitting
good
here
to
with
see
you. I'm fabulous. I am
good
fabulous.
to see you. Give me a hug.
Oh, yes,
Okay?
yes.
And we have Shirley Light.
Hi. How's everybody doing?
Okay, we welcome Johnnie. She's the CEO and the founder of, now I have to say this,
Okay.
I have to read this,
Oh, go ahead.
NABFENE, the National Association of Black Female Executives in Music and Entertainment.
Correct.
Now, do you pronounce this or you just go?
I just do the acronym.
The acronym?
NABFEM.
Okay,
Yes.
NABFEM.
NABFEM.
Okay. And she's here with us. She's having a summit the 27th to the 30th of September. And in this summit, she's going to be doing workshops and she has entertainers and all that.
Exactly.
You right now, you take me through this journey from the beginning of your career until the present. We were talking about something that was really interesting. So I don't want to butt in. Let's go from the beginning. What we were talking about. Okay.
Well, long story short, beginning, I started out in country music. I always just have loved music. I love it today. It's my passion.
My passion too.
It's my passion. It's music.
Passion too, Shirley.
Yes.
Okay.
So it was like for me, I wanted to be in radio. Anything that would get me close to music. And in my hometown of Grenada, Mississippi, there just wasn't a radio station that was hiring blacks, to be on the air. Okay. But I'm that girl with the tenacity. I'm that girl that you tell me no. My dad used to always say, if he tell you no, you got to flip that around. It's on. You got to go back. You just go back.
Love it, yeah.
And so we kept going back. Eventually they hired us, but they hired us as a receptionist, which that's not what I wanted to do. But I was inside the radio station.
Okay.
And so went from that, and it was just, I would say, a fortunate situation where someone didn't show up for work, and we had to find somebody to fill in. And he really didn't have anybody to take that spot. I took the spot, and that was really how my very first time.
That was the beginning.
That was the beginning.
Well, how did you do this? So you took a spot on someone else's show at first.
Exactly.
Okay.
But I was persistent in wanting my show. But the thing is, the funny thing is, it was a country radio station. Now, let's just keep it real. It's a country radio station. Okay. I'm black.
Okay.
There's nothing for me to do but sit there, because he told me just don't say anything, just play the music.
Oh, okay.
And actually, to be honest with you, I was happy with that. Because I just wanted to be where the music was. And he eventually came into the studio and said, well, you might as well tell people what time it is. You might as well read the weather and that kind of thing. And
more and more, huh?
A little bit more. So in doing that, he was like, okay, well, you sound okay. And so we just had that kind of relationship. He knew I wanted to be on the air. And so he said, well, come in a little earlier tomorrow and see if we can do something different. And so that eventually led to me being an on-air personality, country radio station, but I wanted to play black music.
Okay.
He's like, you're playing black music on my country radio station. But eventually, I'm persistent, just constantly bugging him. And one day, he said, we can't really play black music on a country radio station. It's not a jukebox. We can't play what you like. We have to play what we can sell. And he felt that there were no black businesses that would support the program that I wanted to do. So I challenged him and to say, well, what about the white businesses that depend on black people to stay in business?
Oh, that was clever.
Yeah. So he answered the challenge with, well, if you find me 3 that will sign contracts, I'll consider it. I went out and got 5. So when I came back,
we'll make a way.
When I came back with 5 contracts, he was like, are these signed? Yeah, they're ready to go. And so actually what he did was he gave me $100 to go buy some music, because they didn't have any R&B music at the country station. He gave me $100 to go buy some music, and he gave me a 2-hour show. So it's a 2-hour show playing R&B music, country radio station. I was on at 10 o'clock at night. Like I said, when Don Williams was off, Michael Jackson was on.
Love it. Yeah.
So we did that, but the popularity of the show grew. So he moved it from 10 to midnight to 8 to midnight. He came in one day and moved it from 8 to midnight to 6 to midnight. So I was on 6 hours on a country radio station playing R&B music.
Well,
So
congratulations. That was the beginning.
oh, that was the beginning. That was the beginning. But for me, I just wanted to do different, and I just sent my resume out, my air checks and things like that, and several stations called. And for me, at the time, lifestyle issues, I'll say it like that.
Yeah.
I couldn't be too far away from home chasing a career, but I had my grandma that was helping me with my child, and so it was like when I got the call from Memphis, it kind of worked for me because it wasn't really a long way from my home, and so I took that, and so I had to go in and tell him I wanted to leave. And he was that one guy that everything he said, I challenged you, you challenged me, and everything that you've always wanted to do, I've done, and you're leaving. And I said,
yeah.
but I gotta try this. If it doesn't work, maybe I can come back, but I owe it to myself at least to try. And so he was supportive of that. He didn't want me to leave, but he was supportive of it. And I left. I went to Memphis. I was there for really maybe about 5 years. I was in Memphis, was there as an on-air personality, and one day in a meeting, the guy says to me that they were talking about targeting the audiences, and I said, you guys always targeting females 18 to 34, but there are no women making any decisions in here. That's ridiculous to me. I said, should be a woman program in this radio station.
Okay.
And he says, well, women don't program. What do you mean women don't program? So for me, it was like a challenge to program the radio station. And so I just stayed focused on that goal. And eventually I was the program director of the station. I programmed it for 2 years.
That was great.
Yeah, I took it from number 12 to number 2. It was KRNB in Memphis, Tennessee. But even that wasn't enough.
Never enough.
That was never enough, man. I think the really big thing, which turned out to be a turning point, I would say, in my career, with that radio station, I did not play rap. We weren't playing rap. And so one of the things, I was at back in the day, it was the music conference, Jack the Rapper. People probably don't know what that is now, but it was Jack the Rapper, the BRE, Impact, those conferences. And that's how you found out about the jobs. That's how you found out what was happening next. That's the way all the new music, the new artists, everything was at those conferences. So I was at a conference in Atlantic City, and this is where I met Russell, and his promotions person at the time was West Party Johnson. And they kind of cornered me because I was not playing the LL Cool J song, and his rap song. I was not playing it, and they were trying to.
So they were listening into your radio station.
Well, they were trying to get their music on the radio station. They were promoting those songs, but I didn't play rap, so therefore I wasn't playing their music. So it was they were trying to come with every reason why I should be playing Def Jam, and I'm like, okay, but it doesn't work for me. And so back and forth, and of course we went our separate ways. But that following week, they called with a job offer. They did. Yeah, they did. They called with a job offer. And the thing is, they said, we want you to stand up for Def Jam and the artists, talk about the artists, the music, the same way you did that radio station. Because you did not let us turn you away. You stuck by whatever it was that you believed in. That's where you stayed. And we need that same type of attitude at our company. And so they offered me a job. And I, as much as I love radio, I didn't really see myself working at that particular company because it was all rap. And I wasn't really a huge rap fan at the time. And my daughter always laughed at me. She always said, well, Mom, what you gonna do? You don't really like rap music. But it was a very nice offer. And I took it.
So that's how you got with Def Jam.
That's how I got with Def Jam. So I took that job. And it's just that I always like to say I'm the different person. The status quo never worked for me. And I've always looked for different ways to do things. But I think what made my tenure at Def Jam unique, I knew radio. I knew everything in terms of how they selected the music, when they selected it, what time they put it on, what the rotations were, when the rotations were. I knew all. So that was my asset because everybody else in the company didn't know that. So I came with this background of radio, and I knew how to get music on because I knew how they placed it. So it was like a journey from being that new person coming into the whole world of what Def Jam was, but bringing my radio experience there, and it was like within a year, I was national director. Then I became co-national director, and then I was vice president and senior vice president. I was continually
moving
climbing
forward.
the ladder.
That was good. That was
so
good.
it's in that I would say during that time, I was always challenged with, why aren't women doing this? Why aren't women doing this? Or for the women that were doing things, we didn't know who they were. So it's kind of like, how do we promote women? How do we tell the world what women are doing? It's a lot of times women had pretty, I would say, decent positions or decent jobs, but we didn't know who they were.
You know.
It's kind of like, even though they may have
always
had,
in the
they're
background.
kind of in the
Yeah.
background. So we decided to create a platform that said, this is Mary, and this is what Mary does. There are more of us doing significant things other than the ones that you might see on TV, or even the ones that you may hear on the radio, or just the ones that you see. There are a lot of women that are
in the background
in the
making
background.
things work.
Absolutely. So that was kind of like the beginning stages of creating of creating NABFEM. And so we created that, and probably why Def Jam was circling around in my head, because I was at Def Jam. And so it was kind of like being responsible for everything. I ran the promotions department, the field staff, all of the people that worked within promotions and marketing, all of that was my team. So in the process of dealing with all of that, and I'm over here saying, well, I wouldn't need an organization for women, but I made it work. And so that was kind of like I said, long story short, obviously a lot of things happened between that day in the country radio station to, the time at Def Jam. I was there for 15 years. And
Def Jam?
At Def Jam, yeah. I was there.
Well, were you affiliated with DreamWorks, right?
Yes, I left Def Jam in 2003, and from there I took a little break, and then from there I went to DreamWorks.
Okay, what was all that about?
Well,
was that your own record label? Or?
Oh no. DreamWorks are owned by Steven Spielberg. That was kind of like the I would say the musical arm of DreamWorks, the film company, and he also had the publishing company, the music publishing company. But he had the label.
Now on that label, was that the label that Tamar Braxton was on? Was that?
Well, she wasn't there now. She wasn't there while I was there. When I was there, Floetry, Ron Isley, Burt Bacharach, John B. We had just signed Sleepy Brown, that was the R&B voice of Brown. Yeah, he's an R&B voice of Outkast. So these were the artists, and there were some others. Yeah, but yeah.
Well, maybe she was on Tamar Braxton. Maybe she was on.
She might have been on.
Jam. Maybe she was on there.
I don't know. Well, you know what?
I just
actually don't know. I don't remember.
Right.
Yeah. Which of the, she might have been on one of the imprints, and I'm just not familiar with it, but I just know she wasn't there during my time.
And how long did you stay with DreamWorks?
I was there almost 4 years. It's like actually the real was like 3.5 years, because during the time that I was there, when he decided to sell the company, then we just kind of we were just phased out, so it was doing what we do, but you kind of come to a time where the owner makes a different decision. And so basically the music end was phased out, and then the publishing side was phased out, and he just totally focused on the films. Yeah. Okay. But it's I left, when I left DreamWorks, I went back to New York, and I said I was.
Okay, you lived in New York.
I lived in New York, so a long time, almost 20 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a long time. So I'm thinking that I'm gonna take a little break, and I did take a little break. But the mayor of Memphis at this particular time, they were looking at revitalizing music in the city of Memphis, and they wanted they created this music commission to just put a handle on everything music in Memphis. And so they did this nationwide search for someone to run the music commission in Memphis. And of course, my name got tossed in the hat, and I did all the interviews and all of that stuff.
Well, did that have something to do with the Monday music?
Memphis Music Monday. We did
Yeah, okay.
Memphis Music Monday.
Yeah.
Well, that was one of the programs
That was one of the
programs
programs?
that I created. Yeah.
Okay.
So when the mayor called, his office called rather,
Mhm.
and said that the mayor would like to offer you the position of music commissioner for the city of Memphis, and I was
Okay.
like, oh, I said, do I have to move? I was trying to see if I could just do what they needed me to do, and they were like, yeah, you gotta move. You have to come to Memphis. So I was like, what?
So you went to Memphis.
I went to Memphis.
Okay.
And so I did that job for about 10 years. Matter of fact, just left a little while ago. I left, just decided that it's time for me to kind of focus on things that I'm really passionate about, and that film is one of those things. And, music, music and the arts, sometimes, I would say music, the arts, and government sometimes tends to be oil and vinegar. They just don't mix. And so I have my opinions about how certain things should have gone. And I'm pretty steadfast and adamant about how I do things. And so it just became to a point where I knew it was time for me to move on and do some other things.
But just listening to you, I'm really excited because you started at the country
yeah.
radio station and you did all the stuff. You moved to New York and Memphis and
People
boy,
always
you're still doing it. You're still doing it.
People are always asking me, well, what was it like? You went from Memphis to New York. I used to always say,
change, right?
I was a change. That's tell me, I said, you know the problem that I have? They don't have any grass.
In New York.
They don't have any grass. It's grass in a little box, but they don't really have any grass. They would always tell me, go to Central Park, plenty of grass over there.
So now, since you're with NABFEME,
Yes.
okay, tell me what's going on there.
Well, it's an organization that it's a nonprofit organization. Nonprofit. It is a nonprofit organization that focuses on the raising the awareness of women in entertainment. We also teach, we educate, we share information and knowledge, and it's like a resource base for women that are in entertainment, but women that are interested in being in entertainment. And we also have an outreach for those women that are indirectly involved in entertainment, because what I say is, if you're in entertainment, you need a place to live. So therefore, we need to know realtors. We need to know financial advisors. You guys over here making this money and don't know what to do with it. So we need financial advisors. You need web designers, caterers. You need people, stylists. It's people that are in a myriad of professions that interact with us that are in entertainment. And so that became our outreach, that while our focus is music and entertainment, but it's also those women that are in jobs or
support team.
That support team. Yes.
It's a support.
Yes. And so that it created the basis of the organization.
And how many members do you have thus far?
Well, right now we are probably, I would say, across the U.S., probably about, I'll take a rough guess and say probably about 3,000. But that's all over. But, we're in Toronto, Canada, and we're also in last year. And we have not, tabulated those numbers, but I feel really good about them. We're in Lagos, Nigeria. And so the girls in Lagos are expanding to Ghana, and they're expanding to Kenya. So that, just the African expansion alone is really, really significant for us. For the brand and for what we're trying to do as it relates to women. If you just been reading any of the trends, wow, the Nigerians are on a roll. The Nigerians, it's almost like they got necks. They have necks, whether it's new trends in clothing, there's a new trends. Listen, I was over there, and so we were having this event, and so normally, if it just depends on what we're doing, I'll throw on a pair of jeans, a t-shirt, and I'll say, okay, well, I'll be there. And so the young lady came into my room and she says, well, Ms. Walker, who's doing your makeup? And I said, well, I mean, I said, I just want to make sure my nose is not shining, and I put a little lipstick on and I'm good. I said, well, I'm behind the scenes. I'm not going to be. She said, but no, you can't. Everybody wants to meet you. They want to see you. So someone that's coming to do your makeup. I was like, girl, not really. And so, but of course, I have to more or less I'm in their country and I have to embrace their customs.
Right.
And so I said, well, if that's what I should do, then let's have someone do that. And so I'm like, okay, well, what are they? I'm just worried about my skin. I'm worried about them putting stuff on me. And then these girls came in there and they said, well, first of all, it's all African makeup. And they explained to me everything that they had there. And so I just said, okay, well, let me get positioned in the chair here. And oh my God, the transformation was like,
Great.
when that girl put the mirror, I was like, who is that? What?
So they're on a roll over there.
Oh, they're on a roll. They're on a roll in fashion. Well, you know, MTV does the African MTV Music Awards there, and I believe they do The Voice there because one of the young ladies that I had the opportunity to spend some time with is one of the judges on The Voice, Voice Nigeria, or maybe it's Voice Africa, probably Voice Africa. But I'm telling you, man, I always say, forget what you heard, because we need to tell our own stories. And if you think everybody over there is on a camel and with a spear, let me tell you, it's not like that at all. No. I know that's what we see because they show everybody on a safari or something like that. Girl, please, they rolling in a Range Rovers, Lexus, and we in the cut when we were getting ready to go to a friend's house. You know, we have these fabulous condos, and oh my goodness.
Let me take a little break and
Okay.
say hi to our Facebook family. You can help me. You want
Okay.
to do this?
Oh, okay.
Okay,
That's why I got my glasses
Okay, we
here
have
so I could see.
Rosa.
You can have
What's his
Rosa and Ian and Michael Kent. So you got quite a few people there that are saying hello, and there's someone saying hello, Shirley Lights. Barry is saying hi to Shirley Lights. Shirley Lights is over there.
Hi, Lisa
Listen,
Robinson.
Shirley Lights is over there. She's not even looking up. She's
Oh, I'm sending out the post. That's
Okay.
why they're sending.
Okay.
That's why they're calling.
Okay.
oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Leah.
Awesome.
Hi, Aaliyah.
And
Come on out to the summit this week.
Oh yeah.
okay. And then we have Stephen, Sina, Frank. Hi, Frank. Always there to support me. Thank you. Hi, Jimmy. James
Hi, Sandy
James
Sykes.
Phillips. Thank you. Hey, Sandy. That's my sister. Always there.
Yeah.
Baseman, how are you? Okay.
Hey, Frank.
Walter Bryce, Glenn Ogden, Billy Adams. Hi, Billy. I sent you a text the other day. Check it out. I did. Hi, Marcy. Okay. Sandy again. Hi, Jess. Always there. Okay, do we have a couple more there?
It's always great.
Okay, Lisa.
Lisa
Thank you.
Robinson.
Ronald Porter. Thank you. Thank you all for your support. Let's continue. Let's travel.
Let's try to come out of this summit.
Yeah. Okay.
Welcome
Let's
reception.
talk about this summit for a minute.
Okay.
Let's go.
Well,
Okay.
the summit, it's the NABFIM International Women's Leadership Summit. I'm going to call it a 3-day affair because we have a welcome reception tomorrow night, September 27th, Hot Lounge on Locust Street. And so it's free.
Okay.
And we're just inviting everybody to come out. 1420
Right
Locust
next door
Street.
to the Academy of Music.
Okay.
Shirley let us know where it is.
Right next door to the
No,
Academy of
everything.
Music.
Okay, right next
7
door.
p.m.
Right next door to the Academy of Music. Okay.
Okay.
So it's a welcome reception. Just we're like really welcome you and you
Yes,
welcome us,
yes,
and
yes.
it's sponsored by 100.3 WRMB. They're our partner with the welcome reception, and we're just there to meet and greet
To meet and
everybody.
greet people.
Yeah, and just get to know people. Maybe some people we don't know, and obviously some old friends that we do know. And so we go from the welcome reception to the actual summit. And yeah, she said, take the phone, take the phone.
Excuse me.
No, that's fine. I feel like,
Okay.
no, here we go. And the summit itself, it is September the 28th and the 29th. That's Friday and Saturday. And what we have is what I like to say, a bevy of great workshops, seminars. So we have 4 seminars on education. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. We're going to talk about the business of social media. We're going
Okay.
to talk about social injustice, workplace misconduct. I'm sure there'll be some discussion about Bill Cosby as we go into it, but we want to talk about what's happening to us as women as it relates to workplace misconduct, because all of the things that are coming out in the media now, we've been dealing with these things for a very long time.
Right.
Make Music Great Again is one of our seminars.
Mm.
Yes, we got some great people on that seminar that can take you from where the music was to where it is now, and some things that we'd like to see it become, because we have to take control of our music.
Mhm.
We're going to have to grab it, because as long as we let other people control it and present it the way they want to present it, the way they see
I always
us,
say
We'll
keep
get
music.
garbage.
we'll continue to
We'll-
get the garbage.
We'll get garbage.
We'll
And I
continue to get the
always
garbage.
say on my shows
Mhm.
is keep music alive.
We have
You
to.
know, we have to keep it alive.
We have to keep it alive. And we have a career development seminar. And the purpose of the career development seminar is to help us, especially as women, to understand that where we are, because at some point the music will stop. It's called career development, life after the music stops. I mean, and the music can be whatever. It's not just necessarily music. You could be the realtor. You could be working for a major firm, and you get that call or you get that email,
Yeah.
your services are no longer required. So what is the plan? What do you do when they say they don't want you anymore? And a lot of times, especially in entertainment, sometimes we shrivel, because that being in that limelight of that big position kind of made us.
But you know what? Then you have to prepare and develop transferable skills too. Because
Absolutely.
even, when I was in corporate, I had all kinds of transferable skills. I could manage a department, I could run a school, I could do, so in music, sometimes we don't stop to think that we can play piano, we can sing,
Right.
we can manage an artist, we can write songs, we could do, it's transferable skills. So while we're at our best, at our peak, we always must remember that we have transferable skills. So when the music stops on that end, you can still stay in music and still go into another direction. Right?
And
I need you on the panel.
Mhm.
yeah, we should bring her. You
Yeah,
definitely.
I've
And-
done so many things
Uh-huh.
because of my love for music. I've done a lot. But when it stopped, and I got too old to do this or too old
Right.
to, on my mind, sometimes, give away, right?
Right,
I can't remember
right,
things.
right.
You go in another direction.
But without even looking, say, at the lineup of the panels
Mhm.
and the description of
Mhm.
the panels,
Mhm.
you just describe that panel, because that's what it is about, your transferable skills. Because, like I said, we sometimes are in one place. I mean, just take myself for example. So when I left DreamWorks, so
Mhm.
why would I go to work for municipal government? That doesn't even make sense. I mean, in a sense, because I'm working for the government and not necessarily, say, at another record label or another music entity, if you will.
Mhm.
So we have to, like you just said, understand that the skill sets that we have, if we look at them as being transferable, I always said, if you can sell records, you can sell shoes.
Mhm. That's right. That's
If
right.
you sell records, you can sell cars.
Mhm.
That particular skill set is the same. You just have to have the mindset of transferring it into
Mhm.
another industry.
Mhm.
Another seminar that we have that I'm really excited about is Sisters Behind the Beat. These are the women, invisible but invaluable, in that you may not see them, but if you pull them out the mix,
That's the end of the beat.
that's the end of the beat, man. So it's a 2 days of information, education, empowerment, of various seminars. We have a great lineup of great speakers. And then our evening events, we have the Lady Mogul Awards. This is brand new for us, by the way. This is the first time. So this is really like the inaugural Lady Mogul Awards. And these awards are about us spotlighting women in business. I like to call them the economic engine of the Black community, because a woman in business, she's there. She's gonna take those skills and bring them over here. If she running a flower shop, a basket shop, a dress shop, whatever, she might have been at Merrill Lynch, but she's gonna bring those Merrill Lynch skills over to her dress shop, so she can keep the wheels turning. So it's like spotlighting women. I know we have like what we call them, our favorite attorney or favorite stylist or favorite personal trainer. It was just like women that are in business. And we wanted to spotlight those women where they may not be in the national spotlight, but they are hero, superstar in their local community. So that's what the Lady
That's
Mogul
great.
Awards are about. We have our Women Who Jam showcase is all female artists that will be performing. Our Shiro Hall of Fame, we will be honoring this year Deanna Williams, Vivian Scott Chu from Sarah Dash, and Lady B will be our honorees this year. And we are going to couple that with the Stiletto Awards. Now, the difference between the Stiletto Awards and the Lady Mogul Awards, stilettos are all entertainment. They're all music and entertainment. So you're either in radio, television, or music. So they are all totally entertainment. And so we have 8 of those awards. And then we have one award, and if you'll indulge me, when we've always done our conference, there was a young lady that always, I mean, she was just like the glue. She was that sister behind the beat.
Okay.
She did the project management schematic. She did everything. So she knew the inventory. She knew who was speaking when. She knew what time somebody was flying in and when to send the car to pick them up. So I never had anything to worry about because she was always had it. She had it. And when I would say, well, listen, we got how many more? You go out there and be Johnnie Walker. I got this. And she did. She truly had it. But she had breast cancer. We thought the cancer was gone. The cancer came back, and she went home to be with the Lord last year. So this is the first time that we will do this conference without Tracy. It was in my spirit that how do we do this conference without Tracy? Yes, Tracy did everything. Her name is Tracy B. Whitley. She was just like such a spirit for us because she just was that. She was that lady. I mean, she was the glue. Anyway, I didn't want to do this summit without some recognition of Tracy. So I called her mother and her family. She has 2 children. Called her mother and her family, and I said, and I explained to them what she meant to me, what she meant to this organization. And I said, we want to create an award so that nobody will forget what Tracy meant to us and how she kept us together. So spiritually, I know she's watching. I know she's probably looking at me laughing right now. But we created the Tracy B. Whitley Innovator of the Year Award because that's what Tracy was. Tracy was always the one with the fresh ideas. Tracy was always the one that if you came with something, she didn't turn it away. She said, let's see how we can make that work. Tracy was the one that always had a plan. It wasn't like we just went in and did something. No, Tracy was the one did the numbers. She was like, Tracy,
numbers.
The numbers. Tracy did the numbers.
Numbers.
So Tracy was that innovative person that just really, like I said, kept the wheels turning and the glue that kept everything together. So we have a young lady that we are honoring this year. We are saluting her because to me, I've just watched her work. I've saw the things that she does and she is doing. It's Dr. Vicki Johnson, and we are going to salute her and her work by giving her the first Tracy B. Whitley Innovator of the Year Award.
That's great.
So that's our weekend, and we're just inviting people to come out. You know, you can, if the full registration is a bit too much for you, we broke it up. You can do seminars. You can just do seminars.
Okay.
Or you can do seminar one day, or you can just come to the evening events. The awards that I just described.
So it's broken up.
It's broken up. So whatever works, we try to just set it up where it worked for everybody. You know, obviously some people say, well, I want everything. Well, you can get everything. But if you just want to come and get the information and education of the seminars and you really say, well, I don't really care about the award show. So, well, you can do that. Or if you just want to do an award, you want to do an award show and maybe one day of seminars, you can do that too. It's set up where you can combine it however you choose.
Yeah, that's creative.
Yeah.
Now, is this a yearly event?
Well, it's biannual. We should do it every other year. But I would say when I went to Memphis, and as I said to you a minute ago, it's kind of like oil and vinegar, and trying to do the work that I was doing in Memphis with the city of Memphis, and at the same time plan a conference that became very problematic and very overwhelming. And so I said, well, let me focus on this. Let's see how many programs that we can create here that are actually going to be effective. And I didn't do the annual summit. I wish that, and then just, being honest with you, I wish I had not made that decision. But, sometimes we make a decision that we think is for the better.
Oh, I know.
It's almost like if God brings you to it, He brings you through it. And even though we stopped doing the conference, it never left. It never left. So we were doing weekend symposiums, weekend seminar, maybe a symposium that we were doing in Atlanta. You're doing something in LA, or you're doing something, in a market, so to speak. But we weren't doing like this is like global. Cause see, we have our sisters are coming in from Atlanta, they're coming in from LA, from San Francisco, they're coming in from all around, and it's kind of like a family reunion for us.
So biannually, you could do it at different cities.
We used to do it in different cities, and I'll be honest, if we could find that right place, and working with Miss Shirley has really like making Philadelphia that right place.
Okay,
we've done Toronto, Canada, we've done Atlanta, we've done Charlotte, North Carolina, Chicago. We've done various markets for the annual or biannual summit. And so it's like finding that place where people understand what we bring to the table and how important it is, and they support it.
Now, I think like all cities probably have the same kind of type of people, but here in Philadelphia, we have a lot of musicians, a lot of singers. We have a lot of talent here,
right?
Okay, and we have a lot of people that's behind the scenes, okay, who gets little or no credit.
Right.
Okay. But they're hard workers. They're very knowledgeable of the music industry, of the entertainment industry. I can call people and they can, if I don't know someone, I say, can you connect me with this person? And they can connect me, and they're willing to work.
Right.
So in your decision, and I know Shirley is in your ear. I'm going to put this in your ear too, to keep Philly as one of those places
We
you think
kicked it off last week too with an AIDS walk.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Is that what you were doing last week?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me about that.
Yeah. Well, it was a walk. Well, see, let me just say this. This whole process, a lot of this has been, we talked about my career and what I've done, and my career, boom, 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 as I say. And God has been good to me. But in this process, I have learned so much, and just stumbling. I'm going to use that word, stumbling. We were wanting to do something where we could give back to the community. Shirley and I, we were trying to just say, well, what can we do where we can give something back? It's not about us coming to Philadelphia and taking away. What can we give back? And again, sometimes I think God just puts things in your space. And so we stumble upon this AIDS thing. So in stumbling upon the AIDS thing, and I'm doing research and I'm reading, and I'm finding out, because at first, like AIDS, we don't think about AIDS. Magic Johnson looked fine. We don't think anything is wrong, but it's a huge wrong out there. The huge wrong is that everything is about opioids. Everything opioids. While AIDS is like a raging fire in the African American community. And when I was looking at the numbers, 61% of the newly reported cases are African American women, where 19% are Caucasian women and 21% Hispanic women. And I'm like, 61%?
That's something.
Wait a minute.
Those numbers are way too high.
Yeah.
What is this? So then we're on the phone, we're trying to figure out, maybe I saw the wrong thing. Maybe that's not correct. When I find out, I'm very correct. So then it becomes information that I feel that our people aren't getting because we're not talking about it. And so that's what we've been saying. We don't have an opioids problem. We have an AIDS problem. So there's like for instance, there's a pill, that's a pill called PrEP. That this pill, if you take this pill, if you feel that you've been exposed to the HIV virus, and you take this pill within, I believe, 48 to 72 hours, it will completely annihilate the virus if the virus is in your system. So this is after sexual contact. And you take this pill, say, well, let's go with the 48 hours because 72 may be too long, I don't know. But if you take this pill, say within 48 hours of contact, the pill is out.
So obviously black women weren't getting this information.
We're not getting this information.
That's why
This is
we
a
have
good
such
topic.
high numbers.
That's a good topic for Let's Talk, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So if
It's
other
not only
cultures,
that, but the cost. What is the cost for one pill?
well, here's the thing. Those pills are, well, I don't want to, we want to do research, but again, from the information that I've been given, and like I said, I don't want to communicate wrong information, but from the information that I've been given, you can have access to these pills. So they are being subsidized, so you can get them.
And not only that, we partnered with Bibashi for this AIDS walk, and they have made it available to women that do not even have insurance. If you go to Bibashi, they'll give you this pill.
You can get the pill.
Okay.
Yes, that's why we decided to partner with them, because they're trying to reach out to our community
You have
and
just
help
picked
these
on our
women.
topic.
Right.
Yeah, so if they don't have insurance, you can still come there and they will give you that pill.
All right.
Whereas before, the women didn't have the outlet to get it, you know, because America, insurance.
And
So they made it
clearly,
available.
other cultures know about this pill.
Oh, yes.
They know about
Yes.
the pill. So that we're not being told, and we're not talking about it. And I understand that the stigma is there, and you think you may have been exposed or you might have been in a situation and you don't want to say anything about it, but we have to talk about it. We have to talk about it, and we have to protect our young girls, and we have to protect women, you know, because, you know, sometimes if you may be trusting and believe that this person is okay, but that person may not be okay. And if you think that you have been exposed, then it's real simple. Like you said, you can go to like Bibashi and get the pill.
So it's clear that if
So we'll
61%
check into that.
of women, Black women, are being affected by the AIDS virus, it's still running very rampant in our communities. And that's
these
something
are-
that needed to be addressed.
And these are new cases.
Yeah, new
Okay,
cases,
these
not
are-
old cases.
Not all these are new cases.
From the CDC.
What you see what's going on right now, the opioid situation?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, see, that affects another culture,
Exactly.
right? And because it affects that other culture, so many things have changed. Like, instead of you use opioids, you go to jail. No, you don't go to jail. They now look at opioid problem as being medicinal. You have a medical problem. Whereas when it was crack, you went to jail.
Yeah,
But then again, you see who affects what.
exactly.
You know?
Okay. So when you guys got together,
And we partnered with Bibashi. We had an AIDS walk,
okay.
and we donated the money to Bibashi
Oh, that was
to
good.
help them service the
That was
community.
good. Giving back to the community.
Yes.
Mm.
So that was our give back, and we want to continue, as we told them, because we'll use our social media, we'll use our websites, we'll use our networks. We have 20 networks around the U.S. So we'll use our networks, we'll use whatever resources that we have to spread as much information as we possibly can about this disease is in our community. And, it, you know, it's our women that it's attacking, our women. And that's because I'll just say, you know, sometimes we're just a little trusting.
Can we be added to that network?
Can
we be added to that
Absolutely,
network?
we add you. We need you.
All
we
right.
need each other. At the end of the day, all we have
All right.
is each other.
And we have a program like this tonight. It's called Let's Talk.
Right.
We do it on Wednesday night at 7:00 p.m. And we discuss those kinds of issues.
Right.
Anything that will benefit or make our community aware of what's going on. So we discuss that. So I'll contact them
when
and see if
you-
I can get
Bibashi.
Bashi to come out. Okay.
Oh yeah, they're
I can
very good. Yeah,
contact
you can contact. We'll give you the contact information.
Okay.
But in your research, if you just go to the CDC, the Center for Disease Control,
Mhm.
everything that I'm saying, you'll see it right there. They got the numbers, the percentages. Yeah, the statistics, CDC, Center for Disease Control,
Okay.
and you'll see it right there. And when you see how our community, our women are being affected, and nobody's talking about it.
Well, people perish from lack of knowledge.
Uh-huh.
So that's our goal to
Yeah.
get the knowledge out.
That's the empowerment.
Yeah.
That's how we empower.
That's right.
Because we're teaching you. It's like, especially with our young girls, you know, to protect yourself. You know, we're not trying. I don't tell you. I'm not going to sit here and tell anyone to abstain from anything, but I am going to say protect yourself. I am going to say, you know, if you don't know Billy, you might want to think.
Yeah, I don't care
think
what
twice.
it tells you.
Yeah,
Like how much
okay.
stuff really looks to you.
Yeah, you might,
You know,
because
one night could change your whole life.
so from the AIDS walk, we went from the AIDS walk to where we are today.
And
so-
one thing that Shirley said to me, I have a group of kids, it's about 13 of them. She's a good-hearted person.
Right.
It's about 13 of them. And they all want to join together and create this choir.
Right.
Okay. And the missionary, the lady who's the missionary, she wanted to bring them all to me.
Mm-hmm.
And Shirley said, well, she can bring them and I'll teach them. I'll give them 2 free lessons. She said, because I always get back to the community. And I think that's really great.
Thank you.
That's really great.
I'm always trying to help somebody.
Yeah,
Someone that's helping them.
that's what it's about, right?
Hey.
Okay.
Well, that's the circle. That is the circle. Each one teach one.
Yeah.
Each one embrace one. You know, we teach, we share, we empower,
Mhm.
and no one person is smarter than anybody else. And God gave us all a brain, and He put
He
us
gave
all
us all gifts.
gave us all gifts.
Yeah.
We're all unique in our
Mhm.
own way.
Use
You know?
your brains.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But you know, that's our story. That's why we're here, and I just believe that the more that we're able to teach, the more that we're able to share information. You know, it may be, like I say, hindsight is 20/20, but I've always said, I said it so many times, with our music, and we are the creators and the developers of this art form. Why don't we control it?
Okay, and what you're doing, I mean, it's great. And you're moving in a couple different areas.
Yes.
You know, you're teaching the needy and you're teaching the women. And like women, we have an opportunity now to attend workshops and educational
Right.
kinds of things and learn music, something about the music business, or contribute. And you said that you have stylists,
Everything.
you have makeup artists,
Makeup artists.
you have all those, okay? So it's an opportunity. So we have to support this endeavor, and it's going to be. It starts tomorrow night.
Tomorrow
Come out
night.
to our welcome reception
That's tomorrow night.
being held at Club Halt,
Okay.
1420 Locust Street. It's free. It's open to the public. Come on out and get to know NAFM and see what we're about.
Okay.
And-
give us a big,
Right.
warm Philadelphia welcome.
Yes. Yes.
And you can go to our website and get any information, napmsummit.com.
Okay.
And we will be selling tickets at the door. So if you just
Oh, you
want to walk
selling
up,
tickets at
yeah,
the
we'll be
door?
selling tickets at the door. So
And
you
how
wanna walk
about
up.
tomorrow night? You can purchase a ticket tomorrow night.
Well, not tomorrow night. We're meeting and greeting tomorrow
Okay.
night. We won't be
But I will
selling
have some
tickets.
tickets with me.
You'll have some
Somebody
tickets. Okay, well,
wants to
see,
buy a ticket for
Let me step back. She'll have some tickets with her.
Yeah, I have some hard.
Okay.
She's like, okay, maybe I've got tickets in the
I'm not gonna get
purse.
rid of myself.
All right.
So-
Okay. So we're gonna hopefully see you and all the ladies, women. Let's support this endeavor. Let's get down there tomorrow night for the open house.
Yes.
Okay. And then everything starts on the 27th, the 28th.
The 28th. All the
The 28th
seminars
to
start on the
30th.
28th. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much for having us, Doris.
And thank you. It was good meeting you, and you're doing some great things. You have empowered me even more.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Thank you so
And
much.
made me think. I always try to give back, but now I will give back more, and I thank you for that.
Thank you for
Okay.
inviting me. It
And
was a
thank
pleasure.
you
Thank
very
you.
much. Thank you, Gilbert, and Philly Live Radio for everything. And we'll see you tonight at 7 o'clock on Let's Talk.
Let's talk.
Okay. Thank you, Facebook. Bye-bye.
And we
Are out.
out.